saying I know that it may take us a little bit of time before we all get on this Tuesday night schedule. For that, I'm okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't help anything getting on here late tonight. So, we're going to jump right in. I don't have lots of announcements or anything. We're going to do our own income producing activity or a power hour while we actually listen to Genevieve's call from yesterday. I have only listened to about the first 10 minutes of it and promise to do better in the future. I have been unexpectedly put in charge of my sister's children on Mondays and Tuesdays while she works until my mother is better. We knew I would be in charge of them for a short while, but with the ruckus of the surgery, it was it may be a little longer than I hope. I don't know. So I'm just jumping right on in and saying that we're all going to be watching this sort of for the first time together at the same time. So, yeah, and we'll cover some. We're for those of you who are not familiar, well, I think y'all are all familiar, probably. But basically, we're going to change things around. We're going to be doing it on Tuesday nights at 7:30 Central. It's going to start with your basic announcements. Then we're going to jump in and do some income producing activity, and we'll close the way we always have in some prayer. Right now, before we jump into the power hour, I wanted to just say one quick thing, and that is hopefully that you guys are ready for Super Saturday. The vision board Zoom went great. If you haven't watched that yet, I will load that after this tonight. I will upload the vision board Zoom. For those of you don't want to just watch it if you're not going to be able to participate. You want to watch that at a time when you can actually get your supplies together and all that kind of stuff. I know that it seems like just based on prayer requests alone over the last several days that many people are going through what I'm going to just say is a shift of some sort. I follow lots of schools of thought just because I think it's interesting to see what secular people think about what's going on in the world. I like to see what people who follow government stuff think is going on. I like to see what weather people are calling what's going on in the world. I like to follow what Christians think are going on in the world. I like to see what everybody's calling, whatever it is. And just wanted to hold just a moment. Yeah. Oh. Anyway, it seems like a lot of people are under attack or are taking care of people who are under attack, or they feel like their family is under attack. And I just want to say right now that please remind me after we go through this power hour. Let me ask you, how many of you are on here that already listened to the power hour or the Monday motivation? Already did listen to it? Okay. I can only see two faces. Is there anybody on here who didn't listen to it yet? It's fine. I'm just getting a feel for things because Linda, did you already do it? You already listened to it? Some of it? Okay. I tell you what, we're going to jump on. I am going to fast forward through the first few minutes of it to save us some time because I know the few minutes that I've listened to, she was talking about different links, different ways to make sure that you're getting on the right calls and da-da-da-da. If that's something that you want to listen to later, you can go back and listen to those first few minutes. So I really want to go over some stuff I learned last night. I try to put it in my own words about making assumptions. And for those of you who have taken my breakthrough training, it was really talking about what I would call mirrors. And I had the biggest epiphany last night, and I think you guys will be very interested in that. So, okay, first things first. Let me see here. Hey, Jetty, do you mind taking the link and also sticking it in the commentary on my breakthrough page, alumni group? It's in where I've talked about making this change. Someone is asking for the link. Okay, now I feel like we're going to get everybody on the same page of what we're doing tonight. And I'm glad you guys could hop on here. So I'm going to share screen with you. I encourage you to be, during this time, doing what you would do if you were using the Doe app. Listening in. I don't want you to miss any of this because I love Genevieve's training. I always do. And I think this is a powerful one, and we'll be getting some good ideas from it. So here we go. Hold on just one second. Okay, here's something I have not thought of, and I don't know if this is causing me trouble or not. Does anybody know if we can watch an old Zoom while we're on a Zoom? Because the link, didn't even think of this. The link, when I click it to watch the replay, is taking me, let's see.
Play link.
Say it again.
You know, when you posted for us to watch it, I clicked on that link and it took us to next week's, but then I found where the Plexus Ambassador Group page had listed the replay, so I put it in a comment below your post.
Okay.
For the Zoom.
Okay, let me go look and see if I can find that. Okay, in the alumni group. Yep. I remember seeing you. This is in the middle while I was keeping a baby who doesn't really, my sister's baby who wants her mama. I'll just put it like that. So I don't know what all was. Okay, here we go. What all was on that you shared. Okay. Yesterday about the call, or this is the link for yesterday's. Okay, so when I click that, I'm gonna see what it's taking me to here.
Lori, that link that she's talking about, I was able to click it earlier and watch the replay.
I did too. I watched, well, I mean, I was clicking the link that Jetty sent me, and it's the same link. And the problem I'm wondering is if I'm able to play it, because it's like it pulls up a Zoom. Does that make sense? It pulls up a recorded Zoom. It's not a YouTube link. Okay.
Oh yeah, that may cause a problem because we're Zoom.
Because we're on a Zoom.
Can you upload that Zoom to YouTube?
I don't think I can upload someone else's file. I mean, it's not in file. Okay, hang on one second. Let me try one other thing. Let me try something really quick. Let me try signing in, because it is giving me a screen to sign in. If I go somewhere, then I've done something wrong and I'll come back. So hold on just one second. We will get this figured out. Since I was able to watch it earlier, it never crossed my mind that this would be a problem. Hold on one second.
Okay, I don't know if this helps any, but I sent you, so they send out a text if you miss the seminar. And so I sent you the text in Messenger with the link. So while I
Okay.
was on the phone with the Zoom, I clicked in your Messenger on the link and it actually let me open it and I could hear Genevieve talking.
Okay, I'm gonna try that.
And I
Then.
saw the Zoom come up. Okay, you might just have to share your screen.
Okay. It's just taking a second. Okay, I'm gonna go to Messenger where you just sent me that. It pulls up.
It pulled up like it was going to the Zoom site and then it asked me about cookies and I clicked accept and then all of a sudden it started playing, but it played in Messenger.
But it played in Messenger. Oh, okay. Okay.
Now I'm on my phone, so there could be a
Okay.
difference, but I'm still a Apple.
Yeah. It's weird because it's pulling up like it's going to do something. And it's even pulling up like an audio transcript over to the side where, like I'd be able to read down through what they said, which is really weird. But it's not pulling up where I can see a video. So weird. Okay, hang on. I'm going to see if I can do it on my phone. Yeah, it's letting me do it on my phone. Huh. Okay. Let's see.
This call sometimes can be in the middle of dinner time, and I want to be able to respect the time for those of you that are on the call. I am going to turn my.
Can you hear that? And does it sound really weird if I do it from my phone? Sounds okay? Okay. I'll do the best I can with letting us listen to it on my phone this time. Sorry.
Yeah, it doesn't have that tinny sound. It sounds great.
It does? Okay. I'm going to just hold it right where I have it then. We'll go ahead and listen. For those of you who are just joining, we're sorry. We're having a little technical difficulties because I didn't think this through, I guess. Never crossed my mind that I wouldn't be able to watch it because the video is a Zoom while we're on a Zoom. So, okay. We're going to go ahead and listen to it together. And I'm going to try to do IPA on my, I don't know how I'm going to do that. Okay, here we go.
Video on.
Let me scoot past the parts that I know.
Challenge you to feel
here we
bigger.
Go. Hang on.
Okay. I want for you in 20. It's really not easy to figure out. So we're going to talk about that from a three success standpoint. But I want you to know this first. What I want you to know is that the beginning of the year is super, super crazy exciting because it is when your heart is the most alive. It is when your heart is the most alive. It is when you start to do the things that cause those seeds of success to get planted. When you actually plant seeds of success, they get planted in your heart. And they are there to be nurtured and they're there to be grown. And what I want for you in 2020 is for you to think bigger. More than thinking bigger, I'm going to challenge you to feel bigger. Okay? I'm going to challenge everyone in 2020 to feel bigger, because it's really important that you understand the power of your heart. So that brings us to tip number one. Oh, sorry, got another slide here. Like, talk about Super Saturday. Super Saturdays this weekend. Are you all registered? You have to be registered. I am telling you, one of the things that will help your business significantly is, and for $20, you guys, I mean, seriously, I will personally refund your money if you do not think that you got your money's worth out of Super Saturday. It would be better if you could have live.
Audio not good anymore, Becky. I can't. You can't hear it?
It's real, like, jumbled and cutting out. I mean, there a while ago it was like perfect. It was perfect. And then now it's just like kind of choppy. Is anybody else getting that?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm struggling to understand what she's saying, and I already heard her say it.
Okay. Let me try this. Just be honest with me. Tell me what's. Wait.
But at the very least, you should attend as a online viewer, and you can watch it live. I know all those comments. Seriously, if you have no idea about Super Saturday, just $20 is going to be amazing for you. You will get $20 more out of your business. You can still register today. Make sure that you do not wait, because success loves speed. Okay, so Super Saturday for sure. Okay, so are you ready for secret number one? This is secret number one. Your heart is your success compass. Your heart is your success compass. Did you know that? Did you know that if you allow your heart to actively work with you, that it will actually help you guide your success? Now, the reason this is a secret is because most people will drive toward looking at what somebody else does. They'll start to think about what somebody else does. They will work really hard to try to analyze what somebody else does. But the truth is that it is 100% your success compass. It is your success compass. And it is your job to protect those seeds that you are planting of success. It is your job to share what you are feeling in your heart. And it is your job 100% to lead with your heart. So when all else fails, this is 100% the most duplicatable part of your business. It is what is going on in your heart. And I mean, like, in your heart of hearts. So when we talk about what do you want for 2020 with Plexus, what I'm going to ask you to type in here is, what would it feel like to attain the type of success that you are looking for? But at the very beginning, when we talked about, like, oh my gosh, tell me what your goals are. Your goals are set up as things, titles that are going to occur by a particular point in time. Now what I'm asking you to think about is, what would it feel like? Use a feeling word to describe what it will feel like when you are super clear and you are super aligned and you are hitting those goals. What would it actually feel like? Okay? So Claire says it would feel like a weight has been lifted. Pamela is saying, do I write peaceful? Okay? Accomplished, empowered, relieved, right? Freedom, proud, confident. Now, I want you to think about these words: gratifying, energizing. You notice that a couple of words keep coming up again and again and again and again. When we look for ways to talk about our business, the answer is already in your heart. Does that make sense? Like, I know that we go through training, and some of us have had some kind of we've all had kind of squirrely sales training, me included. But at the end of the day, if you can use these words that you are seeing here when you are sharing Plexus, you have created the most duplicatable part of sharing possible. Because if you tell people, you know how you share Plexus? You go inside, you look at your heart, you feel the things, and you start to tell people. Because I have to tell you, my number one sentence, there's 2 things I want you to learn to say this year. The first thing is, I don't know. It is totally okay to say, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know what's in that product. I don't know if this is going to work. All I can tell you is how I feel. I feel a sense of joy. I feel a sense of peace. I feel a sense of hope. I don't know. What I know for sure, though, is that it's for other people, and their excitement helps me to feel excited. Does that make sense, y'all? In this year, 2020, we're going to simplify everything down to the basics, right? I feel grateful. I don't know exactly how that works. What I do know is that when people use this product, they feel joy, they feel relieved, they feel happy. Right? Again, using your heart as the compass, the answers actually come about a little easier. Is that, are you picking up what I'm laying down? So successful people are super crazy clear on their reasons why they are going to take a journey, because change is hard. The question I have for you is, like every other successful person, have you made the ultimate success decision? Have you? Have you actually sat down and made the ultimate success decision? Because successful people make the ultimate success decision, and that decision is the way I feel, the way I want to feel is going to far exceed the fear of learning something new. Okay, pick up what I'm laying down.
Yes.
Have you made the ultimate decision to succeed? Change is hard, y'all. Change is hard. It's doable because we've seen other people do it, and it's worth it. But this is the year that you have to get real about the effort and align your activity with the level of your why. Okay? So if you really want to change your life, you have to really want to align yourself with the activity that will bring about that result. And that's why it's super, super important that you let your heart be your compass. Because when it feels more exciting to be successful than it does to be scared, right? So we have to choose. Do you want to feel scared, or do you want to feel successful? Do you want to feel doubtful? Do you want to feel successful? Do you want to feel apathetic, or do you want to feel successful? Do you want to feel frustrated, or do you want to feel successful? And some of you, you're thinking to yourself, oh, I know, but sometimes I feel that way, but I do want to feel successful. How do we make that happen? So that brings us to step number 2. Secret number 2 is you must do it scared, uncertain, and frustrated to feel confident at it. You must do it scared, uncertain, frustrated in order to feel confident at it. So many people wait until they feel good about it. They wait until everything is perfect. They wait until the right incentives. They wait until everything looks easy. But the truth is, when you do it, then you will think it. And once you think it, then you will feel it. So many people work this backward. They're like, oh, I have to feel it before I do it. The truth is, you have to do it, and then you will feel like it. Does that make sense? I want to make sure. Did anybody need to hear this? I'm just wondering, is this making sense to y'all? Anybody? Anybody like, yes, I hear you. I am picking up what you are laying down. Because I really believe that we are talking to our future jewels. I know we have jewels on this call, but you guys are the ones that we need to kind of like leg up over the fence with all of the learning and history that has gone on. What your upline wants you to know is this. They have done it scared. They did it uncertain. They did it frustrated. And now all these years later, they feel confident. And see, you look at them where they are now, and you're like, I have to be like that in order to get where I want to go. No. You have to just act and then think, and then you'll feel like doing it. They all went through this, and they're not going back, right? So they're not going back to scared. They're not going back to uncertainty. They're not going back to frustrated just so that you can figure out that they experienced that. What they want you to know is you have to do it anyway. Feel that fear, but do it anyway. Does that make sense? Any questions so far about secret number 1 or secret number 2? Because I'm telling you, this is huge. Yes, right? And those of us who have children, we know this. We teach it to our kids, right? That little kid that like doesn't want to go out on the soccer field, we're like, you'll be fine. You'll be fine, right? You know that. You teach it. We have to just follow that now. We have to encourage each other. So it's okay for people to go, I don't really know how to do that. You're like, we're all okay with that. We do it anyway. Yeah, but it doesn't feel right. Well, listen, just do it and see if that changes. It is the doing that creates the success, you all. It is the doing. Ask your upline their favorite uncertain, scared, or frustration story. I bet you they will have so.
Is audio getting weird again, Becky? It is? Okay. I'm trying to hold my hand super steady. I'm going to move it around a little bit so I can get my hand steadier. I could see your face looking like I maybe. Okay, I'm going to back up about 15 seconds and let me know.
It is the doing that creates the success, you all. It is the doing. Ask your upline their favorite uncertain, scared, or frustration story. I bet you they will have so many, okay? All right. Recognize the signs of success, y'all. See, some of you use these things as signs that like something is wrong. I need you to understand your heart is your compass. These things are the signs that you are on the right path. So what are signs of success? You don't know how it could happen. That's the sign of success. If you are actually at the edge of trying something new and you're like, yeah, but I don't know how it could happen, that is a sign of success. It is a sign that you're on the right path. If it feels hard, that is a sign of success. That means you are coming to the edge of your comfort zone, and your comfort zone is trying to encourage you to go back from where you came from. Yeah. Because your comfort zone's job is to keep you alive. And it thinks if you try something new, that you might not succeed at. So it is set up so that when you get close to the end of your comfort zone, it goes, but you don't really know how that's going to work out. Allison, this is going to be hard. Or Kathy, you don't know if this is going to work. You might look stupid, right? It might say, hey, Elena, this is scary. I don't know if, like, she's crazy. Right? You might have your comfort zone right now telling you should hang up and do something else because it doesn't want you to hear the truth. It does not want you to do great things. It does not want you to step into your success. So let's decide in 2020 that we're going to stop using these things as discouragement and use them as signs that we are on the right path. And as you have downlines and your team members go, this goes hard, you're going to go, good. That's a good sign. Or they're going to go, I'm super excited, but you know what? I don't see how this could work out. Let's learn to say, good. This is a good sign. Or be like, I don't know if I can do that. That's okay. The fact that you are at a point you are making a decision to go past your comfort zone is 100% the zone of influence in helping you get closer to your dreams. Okay? All right. So, secret number 3, do whatever it takes. Everybody type in here, whatever it takes to get into momentum in January. Do whatever it takes to get into momentum this January, y'all. There's a y'all at the end of that. Can I tell you something? Okay? You have to embrace your inner boss, y'all. Some of you have not stepped into this notion of being a Super Bowl coach. I want to ask you a question. If you are trying to recruit the best players for the Super Bowl team, do you think they're going to join your team if you're kind of maybe sort of going to try? Right? Can you imagine talking to the number 1 draft pick and going, hey, we got first pick. We want you on our team because we're going to kind of sort of try to win the Super Bowl this year. Versus someone who says, you're going to do whatever it takes to get a Super Bowl ring on your finger. Which instills confidence? Which is going to attract the key players? But if you are not at a point where you're like, I have a whatever it takes mentality, NPF says, I don't need to know how it's going to get done. I just have to have a whatever it takes mentality. Because you don't know what you need to do. All we know is that you have to persist. And when you are recruiting people, when you are asking people to come along on your team, it can't be this lackluster, I don't know, we'll see how it goes. Some of us are bad bakers, right? It's like you turn your oven on, you follow the recipe, you said, oh, Genevieve said it's a recipe. I made everything according to the recipe. She said quantity, order, right? Everybody knows I say that. Quantity and order matter, and so does, what else? Thank you, ingredients, right? So you're like, I did all of that. And you put it in the oven, and you were excited, but first you did it, and you turned the oven on. And then the next day something happened, and you turned the oven off. And then you turned the oven back on for 2 days this time, but then you turned it off for 3 days because you just didn't feel like doing it. You couldn't do whatever it took to keep the heat on to your business. This is the kind of thing that we're talking about when we say whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, You have to keep the heat on so that the recipe actually bakes. How many of you are turning your ovens on and off? How many of you turn the oven off too many times in 2021, 2019, 2019? I don't even know what year we're in, right? This is a secret you need to know. Successful people don't turn the oven on and off. It's always on. The heat is always on. They have a whatever it takes mentality, right? So you've got to have a committed heart, my friends. Remember I said your heart is the compass. You have to have a committed heart. The secret, number 3, is do whatever it takes to get into momentum, which means you're going to embrace your inner boss. You are going to own being that winning Super Bowl coach, right? Talk about this. You lead from your heart. Sight, not the fear. Is Cynthia, I have no idea if this is for you or not, but what I do know for sure is that it feels amazing to be on a path that would give me control of my income. You know what, Carolyn? I don't know if this is for you or not, but all I can tell you for sure is that there is so much joy at being on a path where I can work with people who love and support me, products that absolutely positively really work, and people who are cheering me on. You might want to check it out for yourself. Hey, I don't know, Kim. I don't really know what's in that product. I can find out, but what I do know is you should try it for yourself, because so many people have experienced relief. So many people have experienced peace. So many people are loving the way they look and feel and being participants in their own life instead of spectators. I'm just saying, I just love the way it makes people feel. Are you picking up what I'm laying down, y'all? Because this is powerful. And if I can get you to believe that for 90 days, all you have to do is lead with your heart every single stinking day, with your heart every single stinking day, you are going to have an amazing 2020 business. You are going to help so many more people. Listen, I don't know how many of you spent your holidays with your family and you're like, girl, you need some balance. Girl, you need some slim. You need HC. You need micro. Like everywhere I look, there are people that I'm like, I just want you to know and decide for yourself. I just want you to know and decide for yourself. Because I'm not trying to sell you something. I want you to experience something. So when I say do whatever it takes to get into momentum, we have to break that down just a little bit. Because here's the thing. When you have a whatever mentality, whatever it takes mentality, you begin to lead with great things. You get to lead with great vision. When you have a whatever it takes mentality, you are leading with vision opposed to mediocrity. That's the choice we have to make in the next 90 days. Am I going to lead with mediocrity, or am I going to lead with vision? And guess who the first person is you have to lead? You. You are the first person that you have to lead with vision. Say no to mediocrity. Say absolutely, positively yes to vision. Say yes to that little seed of success that has been planted in my heart. So I just want to break this down because I'm like a break it downer kind of girl. I saw this definition that I loved on the internet, and I don't know who Coach Slow is, so I'm not like straight up, not like, oh, go follow this guy. I don't really know who he is. But I loved his quote here. Momentum occurs, are you picking this up? Momentum occurs when a positive result, I give you a positive result. You should try this. You should try this. That's a positive result. When a positive result instigates another positive result. You should try this too, right? Someone else should try this. You and I are both out there telling people you should try this, right? That's a positive result, instigating another positive result. And get this, that generates a force. A force that moves forward with a collective confidence. You know that that's what we need in 2020. We need to embrace the collective confidence, the generation of that force that has that collective confidence. That is where our power lies. I have been around the block, y'all. We are a fantastic field. You really are a special field. I really mean that. The hearts of all the leaders and the people, we attract marvelous people to this company. What we have to do now is create results with all of these marvelous people. We have to start that collective confidence. Who wants to be a part of the collective confidence? Who is willing to consistently instigate positive results that ripple and have consistent positive results all over Plexus? That's what we're talking about. So because I'm a little bit of a geek, I had to look up what is the formula for momentum. It's so simple. It is mass, which is you guys, the number of people, times the speed at which we are doing things. We can get more done when we're all rowing in the same direction. It is so easy to create momentum because if everybody does the same things and everybody is consistently doing it and more people are joining in that activity, we create more velocity and we create more mass. Imagine everybody being in a boat, right? If 2 people in the boat rowing, the boat moves forward. If you have 4 people rowing in the boat, you've increased the mass and you've increased the velocity. If we have 20 people in that boat, we're going even faster, aren't we? If we have 200, 2,000 people all doing the things from our hearts that creates that momentum, we are going to be a much more amazing group of people in 2020 and impact our people. So here's what I want to demystify for you. January, February, March, April. These are your momentum months. You do whatever it takes to get into momentum. That means, yes, Maria, you work like a team. You work like the winning Super Bowl team. You be the winning Super Bowl coach, coaching the winning Super Bowl players. You are in it with them. By the way, there is no, I'm just going to direct from the sidelines. Your team does what you do. I don't know why it works that way, but it does. You can't take a break and expect your team to keep working. It doesn't work that way. Plus, if you take yourself out of the mass, then that's one less person working. And if every one of your leaders does the same thing, you have decreased your momentum because you have less people rowing the boat. Does that make sense? So here's what I'm talking about. Positive activity looks like this. Introducing 3 new people a day to Plexus. 3 new people a day that you're putting in your pipeline. Following up with people in your pipeline, 3 of those people a day. Use product samples, 3-day challenges, and sip and seas. Why did I put sip and seas in there? Because you all just said, whatever it takes. I heard you. Whatever it takes. I am telling you, there's something on this list that you are not doing that you need to do in the next 90 days. You help create momentum. And then we create that collective confidence through the consistency. It looks like we +3 every single month by introducing 3 new people to Basic Plexus and following up with 3 new people. You see how simple that is? What do you say? I just told you, you say what you're feeling. I am hopeful. I feel hope. I feel confident. I feel good. I feel excited. All of those things work. And you continue to do it because what's going to happen is we're coming out of January, Super Saturday, and the next thing you want to be inviting people to is health and happiness tours. And let me just tell you something. If there's not a health and happiness tour in your town, you get your leaders together and you do your own. You do your own. Why? Because just like I'm saying, health and happiness, whatever it takes. But if you aren't paying attention and you aren't part of the momentum leading into the health and happiness tours, or you don't do your own health and happiness event, and you will miss out on the momentum. Because part of what we're all going to do is we're all going to lead toward these events. Just a second, my watch. I've been rambling. Okay. Health and happiness. We're going to do that from March, February, March timeframe. Okay. We're announcing those dates very soon. February and March timeframe. You should have your own opportunity events. You should have your own health and happiness tours with the leaders in your area. Share stories. And then what are you building toward? You are building toward convention, which is the grand success multiplier. When people come to convention, it helps you in the back end of the year. So it's build momentum all the way through to convention, and then convention, build to the end of the year. There's a strategy based on the 3 things I just told you. Totally intentional. Based on simple activity. Okay? So let me warn you about the momentum busters. Are you ready? Because here they are. Not having a committed heart is a momentum buster. You haven't gone, you haven't off. I'm sharing, I'm not sharing. I'm happy, I'm complaining. I'm frustrated, I'm working, right? Continue with the activity. Have a committed heart and do whatever it takes. You have to have a whatever it takes mindset. Burn the oven on and off, right? Can't do that. And let's, please, hold each other accountable. And the complaining, listen, I'm not saying it's a big deal, because it's not, because y'all are very positive people. But you know what happens. We go through a little growth period, something new comes out, and we're like, I don't like that. And then like the chatter starts. Negative chatter, it's like a weed in your garden of success. It will choke out every good thing that you have happening. Don't do it. Catch yourself. Turn it into some opportunity. Like, I don't know, right? Then the said it's okay to say, I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work, but I'll tell you what, when I figure it out, I'm going to feel more successful. Because I'm a Super Bowl coach, I look at my obstacles as an action opportunity. I'm going to create a plan of action around my obstacle. You know, the whole game of football is all obstacles. Have you thought about that? Think about it. Football seems super easy. You have one team, you take your ball all the way over to the other team, and then you just have to get your ball across the line. It seems so simple, doesn't it? It does. But what the whole game is about obstacles. The game is about someone stopping you from doing something simple. And these people get the snot beat out of them, right? They get paid a lot of money to have people just simply illustrate that having someone in front of you is not a good enough reason to not pursue your goals, right? Because I know I got all kinds of we're coming into Super Bowl season here, so I got all kinds of Super Bowl analogies. But how true is that? It's like, hey, you know what? We're gonna play this game, and they're physically gonna keep you from doing it. The good news is there's no physical somebody keeping you from doing this. It is all about what you tell yourself and what is happening here. Every one of those professional players have made the ultimate decision to succeed. Have you made the ultimate decision to succeed? And then when you've made the ultimate decision to succeed, you make the ultimate decision to act. And when you make the ultimate decision to act, you ultimately will change your life, your family's lives, the lives of the people around you. And there, my friends, you will not only experience power and excitement, but you will have joy in your day-to-day activity. So that's what we have. I know I rambled a little bit. I have people sitting in my office. I know I rambled a little bit. Do you have any questions, comments, concerns, or snide remarks at this point in time? Because I can address them. So here's what you want to do. You have to, and I tell you right now, because success loves speed, you need to text your upline and say, I have a committed heart. I am going for it. You can count on me and my whatever it takes attitude. You have to, do you know, just another thing, do you know that you have the ability to build up your leader? Do you know that you have the ability to supercharge your leader? When you tell them, I'm on board, I'm on the Super Bowl team with you, it absolutely positively helps them with their own comfort zones. And it helps make them better leaders. Let's learn to empower our leaders. Loop them in. Just let them know, like, hey, something has changed for me this year. I don't know how, but I'm super duper crazy on board. I have a whatever it takes mentality. I am going for the Super Bowl prize. You guys, our company is far too meaningful to have a mindset of mediocrity. It just is. We have too many people to help. We have too many good things to do. This company does far too much good with all of its income. We have to partner together. We have to eliminate the mediocre mindset, and we have to get into a vision and success mindset and keep inviting people along. You guys, I hope you had fun. I hope this helped, because I'm telling you, we are going to have a fantastic year, all of us together. I don't want anyone at the end of the year to go, I really wish I had been more committed right from the very beginning. No matter what, for 90 days, you will see amazing things. Thank you all so much for your time. I really look forward to seeing you all on all of our future Motivation Monday calls. And yes, you do have to repeat them. You do. Keep listening again and again and again and again. Make sure you fill out the survey before you get off. We're so excited to have you all here. Thank you so much, and we look forward to really helping so many people in 2020. Thanks for all you do, y'all.
Okay. First and foremost, I'm going to try to figure out a way that we can do that differently next time so that I'm not holding it. Secondly, I could listen to that call because it spoke to me on a very, very me level. I could listen to that call every single day, and I would probably never get tired of that. Using your heart as your compass. Everything that Genevieve does, I'll say it like this. Everything about the way Genevieve trains and the ideas that she has are the reason I changed the format of this call. Because we already have her resources coming at us every Monday And I feel like if we're dividing our attention between, well, Monday night, then or Monday, and then there's like Wednesday night, and I feel like it's crazy not to implement what she is using every single week because, or what she's talking about, what she's training on. And she resonates with me on a spiritual level in person. I mean, she
Is
and
Bert
I,
outside?
hang on,
Let's start there.
I got unmuted. I was saying, she and I look at things very much the same. It seems, and when when I'm with her, the energy that she shares, the way that she presents things, and even just the way that she's easy to understand. So I can't say enough nice things about her and what she has brought to this company. And so, literally, switching the nights was so that, or switching the times. I'm sorry, switching the times was so that we could have more people be able to join us because of time zone. But the switching of the format is because I want us to be implementing what Genevieve is putting out there. It's very much in line with our team culture. It's like we hired her, as in we, me, and you guys. She's awesome. So I'm super happy. I hadn't had it, like I told you guys early on in the call, because of babysitting and everything. I had not had a chance to listen to that, so I didn't know exactly how much it was going to resonate with me, but literally can't think of anything that I would have said any different, or like I would have said anything different anyway, but you understand what I'm saying. I'm super happy with that. I encourage you to keep that one handy on when you're like driving in your car and stuff. That's a great one to turn on because she hits all the high points about working from your heart. And then she also talks about doing whatever it takes. Sometimes you just need to hear that over again. Now, weirdly, this is not going to exactly hold hands with what she was talking about, but last night I had a conversation, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and say some things that make me uncomfortable to say them. Like, I don't have a problem with the fact that I study the stuff that I study and I listen to the things that I listen to, but talking about it in a group setting like this sometimes makes me go, oh, people are going to think whatever. But that's the whole point of what I'm about to say to you, because I had an epiphany yesterday. And I'll back up and say just for a second, those of you who have taken my breakthrough class have heard me talk about mirrors. And I'll give you just a brief explanation of how mirrors work. And basically, I did a study several years ago that was, it was the Essene, Essene. This is the stuff I usually leave out and don't tell exactly where it came from because I'm not sure I align with everything that they teach or whatever, but Jesus's lineage came through the Essenes, Essene. And they had this spiritual teaching about mirrors, and it was about as you go through your life and are faced with the same thing over and over in different ways. For example, you know people in your life who seem to have a Murphy's Law thing going on. It's like, well, if anything can go wrong, it always goes wrong with that person or whatever. And what I believe is going on based on the fact that I have practiced this a lot in my own life is I believe that those people are experiencing the same mirror being mirrored to them over and over and over and never healing that part of their journey, or never facing it, never actually, I'm going to say healing is the word that really comes to me the most when I'm talking about this, because the majority of things that are mirrored to us are being mirrored to us because we have wounds in our soul from childhood or whatever. And so we react, we knee jerk, and then when you go through a lesson or a season or whatever it is, and you stay in that like low vibration, where you're like operating from survival skills, like I'll punch you in the throat, you know, or whatever that looks like to you, however you might feel that feeling. When you stay in that place and never come out of that and are never healed from whatever caused you to feel that way in the first place, like let's say you never felt protected or taken care of and you feel like you need to punch people in the throat. That never being resolved and you never coming to a higher place of consciousness or whatever to actually deal with your emotions causes it to get mirrored to you again. It somehow, you might look at it like, I keep getting dealt the same stupid hand. Like, feels like everywhere I go, everyone is doing this, whatever it is. And there are 7 mirrors. I'm not going to go into the mirrors today because that is a lengthy teaching. But sometimes you're being mirrored, you to yourself in a particular moment. Sometimes you're being mirrored to yourself, something that you judge, that which you judge. And then the other ones are a little more difficult to understand, much less explain. But the epiphany that I had last night, and I hope you guys are following me so far, because I know this is kind of like a, wind around the mountain type thing, but my brother died in 2006. And his best friend and my family and I and my brother's best friend, we all avoided each other. We avoided my brother's best friend for years because it was too sad to be around him. And he found it too sad to be around us. And out of the blue, we had this weird supernatural thing happen one time at Christmas time. And he reached out to me because of it. And he was like, I'm sad. I miss you guys. I want to be around you guys. And following that, I went to dinner with him. I had begun studying some of this stuff, the mirroring. I had begun studying the right brain versus the left brain, and the way that we cope with things. And we get into this deep conversation, and he tells me, oh my gosh, I can't wait to tell you more. I've studied so much about this too. And he and I were almost on parallel paths and didn't know it. And he said, it's so exciting to learn that it's all a hologram. And I was like, it's a what? And he's like, it's not real. This life is not real, not in the way that we think it is. It's all a hologram. And I'm like, okay, well, I thought I was super enlightened. And then he tells me something like that. And I'm like, okay, I don't know. And we vow that the next time we get together, he's going to tell me more about that. And then he died. Like, soon. And not funny, but I'm just going, what? I mean, I never learned what he was talking about. So this idea of something being a hologram has kind of held my attention. And I've watched a couple of videos about the concept, and I'm like, I don't get it. Don't get it. Don't get it. Don't get it. I quit years ago. I quit chasing that rabbit. Well, last night I was following some of the government stuff that I'm into, some of the political stuff that I've been, and somebody said something about something being a hologram. And I was like, there's that word again. And somebody had shared a video, and I started watching the video. And the thing is, the video was probably very similar to videos I've watched in the past. I mean, it was very kind of far-fetched, very touchy-feely concept. But in the comments, by the way, if you're not a YouTube person that watches YouTube videos, then you don't know that there's YouTube gold in the comments lots of times. Lots of times you can read down through comments and people will be given like 2 sentences worth where you go, oh my goodness, like a summary of something. Okay, well, I'm going down through and I'm reading a comment, and the comment didn't say exactly what I'm about to say to you. I'm going to word it in a way that I think you'll understand it better. But the word that it used was assumptions. She said something about the fact that the reason it is a hologram, anything that you're experiencing, is because it's similar to mirrors. She didn't say that. I'm telling you that. It's similar to mirrors in that what you anticipate might happen in a situation. Let's say before you walk into a room and you know who's going to be there and you anticipate people's reactions to things, your assumptions are often right. In fact, I asked Jetty last night, I said, when I got really deep into this topic and I could see he's like, yeah. And finally I said, well, I want to ask you something. How often are your assumptions 100% right? And he's like, often. And I said, mine too, like almost always. I almost always know how people are going to react. I said, it's very unusual for me not to know how individual people, if I know them, but here's the kicker. The assumption is the hologram. And what I mean by that is by assuming how they will react, therefore they do. And the commentary underneath what this lady said about assumptions was, oh yeah, absolutely. Once I realized that if I could lay down my assumptions, that the exact same people who have treated me crappy for years would start treating me normal. And it was one comment after another like that. People were like, oh, absolutely. That's absolutely right. You attract what you anticipate. You attract what you anticipate. You attract what you anticipate. In other words, a person who might not even be kind of a mean-hearted, greedy person might be mean-hearted and greedy to you based on the fact that you assumed so. It's a supernatural principle. Like, people act the way you anticipate they're acting. I used to think, I guess I'm just so smart. I just read people so well. I know how they're going to react. So I've shared this. I only literally uncovered this last night. I've shared it with 3 people, Jetty being one of them. The other 2 people that I've shared it with, I shared it with either last night or this morning. And already the day has come to a close. Because I told them, try it. Let's try this out for a few days. Let's do our best to lay down our assumptions. No, they don't know. This is a shared field of energy type thing. It is all about frequency and shared energy, rubbing off on each other. They don't know. They just mirror what your assumption. We do it too. Like, I'm sitting here talking to you. I can say that I unknowingly participate in this by mirroring what a person's assumption is about me. And I don't know that I'm doing it. We don't know. Now, okay. Here's the thing. Anything like this that's far-fetched and out there, what I say, especially to a collective group of you, is test it out. Because the 2 people, I haven't really talked to Jetty. Jetty's been gone this afternoon. I don't know if he really even ran into anybody today and had a chance to test it out. But the other 2 people I told it to both reported back to me today with shock and awe about the fact that they decided, like, before they walked into a work meeting, one of them did, and the other one, similar situation at work, that she was going to literally consciously lay down her assumptions about everything. The one that was a work meeting, she said her assumptions have always been right because the person has always been the exact same. It's an end of the year review. They do their end of the year review with their employees, and it's always exactly the same. The way that they give you feedback is in exactly the same type of words. The form is exactly the same. The terminology, everything is exactly the same. And she's like, it's easy to assume what he's going to do. And I said, so how'd it go? And she's like, well, what's weird is nothing was like in mine. She said other people's reviews were similar to other years. But she said, for my review, it was entirely different. She said, I conscientiously laid down my assumptions about what he would and wouldn't do. For example, she asked him if she could do it at a different time of day based on what she was needing to do later in the day. And everybody was like, good luck with that. You know, his schedule is bullet point. Okay. And she's like, I laid down my assumptions, even though that's always how he has been in the past. I laid down my assumptions about it and decided they were all like, you're not going to ask him to change when he does your evaluation, are you? She's like, yeah, I need it. That's what I need to happen. She went back there and he was open-minded, open-hearted. Her evaluation lasted only a few minutes, like compared to like last year, an hour, the year before, an hour. And it was over with and everything was great. And she was like, what on earth? So, you know what we overcome with? the blood of the lamb and our word of our testimony. I looked all that up in Hebrew last night about the word. You overcome with the blood of the lamb, the word of your testimony. And reading, I encourage you, if you have a concordance, to get that out and look up what it means to say the word of your testimony. It was, and also that we do not love our life unto death, all that. I encourage you, I'm not going to go into it tonight, but I encourage you to look up the original words. You can look that up online. You don't have to own a concordance. You can go to like Bible Hub and click STR for the translation, and that'll take you to Strong's Concordance. And I encourage you to look that up and see how powerful, like I just shared with you, a testimony, okay? It's testimony of something that happened today. And it's going to raise your level of belief that it's possible for you. And we're sharing a field of energy right now. You and I we're all sharing this Zoom space. I'm rubbing off on you right now, whether you know it or not. And I just shared a testimony that's powerful. So do you imagine a different or better outcome than what you would normally expect? Personally, I've always done the imagine thing. Okay, you guys know that I'm big into that. In fact, I've done it similar to what you might call law of attraction or something like that. I don't get into like hokey, hocus pocus, spooky stuff. But as far as imagining, I've always imagined things since I learned to do that. Okay. Now, this particular thing just says not to assume, and that the assumption creates your reality, your assumptions. And here's the thing. Here's what I know. Our assumptions are based mostly on our childhood. I was born, I'm just going to say this as straightforward as I can. I was born with a heart that really didn't make assumptions about people. It wasn't concerning to me. I was taught to assume. I was born not assuming. I was taught that to be smarter than a situation that's thrown at me, you have to learn how to read people. Okay? Like, I was taught that if you understood how people work, then you could overcome situations easier because you expect it. That I'm finding was not in my favor at all, because then I'm automatically going in with a Boy Scout's heart of be prepared. Don't go in there not knowing what people are going to say or do. But the fact is, in the instances where I didn't do that ahead of time, those are where the best outcomes have come from. Every single time. Or if I did imagine it, I imagined it a better outcome than what like, for example, if my gut instinct or the way I was taught would teach me that to anticipate X, Y, and Z, and that's not very good stuff, then I would anticipate instead, I would imagine it coming out a completely different way than X, Y, Z. Yes, manipulation. That's what I call it in breakthrough class. I learned as a child that manipulation was I wasn't learned it. First of all, I wasn't learning it as the word manipulation. I was learning that it was just being smart, using your wits. I was taught that it was just you're a pretty sharp cookie if you can figure out the way people are and then worm your way through a situation based on what you know about people. And what I know for sure now is I don't know for sure about this whole thing I'm teaching you about hologram. I don't know about that. I can tell you for sure, I think that the assumption thing is right. That your assumption, no matter how it happens, whether it's a field of energy or they can feel your energy or they can feel your expectation or anticipation or whatever it is, I encourage the 16 of us that are on here tonight to just go 1 week and lay down your assumptions before every single thing that you're gonna be confronted with. Lay down your assumptions. There is a person in my family who I can hardly have a phone call with because she's saying everything I'm about to say. She's anticipating it. And she's not right. But it's like, then if I'm telling her a story, I'm like, and then, and it's like, I'm not telling it fast enough for her. And she'll say, oh, and then he did this. And I'm like, and then she'll go, I'm sorry. I always try to jump ahead. And then like, I say something else, and she'll say, oh, and it's like, oh my God, I'm never going to get a story told because it's always the same telling my story for me, because this is the person who taught me. You understand what I'm saying? This is the person who taught me how to think ahead of a situation, and to the point that I finally just sit there. I've finally, in this era of my life, I just sit there, not bitter or mean. I just wait and give her time to shut up so that I can finish the story that she seems to be interested in. She wants to know. So, okay, good question. Christia says, okay, so share with us how you intentionally not assume. Well, for me, it's easy to assume. So I know that I'm doing it. So I tell myself, I will say, God, I choose to lay that assumption down right now because I don't know what they will or will not do. And until I master the ability myself, if I ever master the ability myself to just walk in non-assumption, God, I ask for your grace over this. Cover any of my old ways of dealing with things. Cover all my old ways of dealing with things, God, and let me walk into this room with a blank slate of assumption, no assumption. That's what I had told the people I told today. I was like, I don't know how you don't assume if you've done it all your life, except for to just say, God, give me the grace to do this. And that's what they did. So I don't know if that's helpful at all. If you're going to assume situation, if you're going to imagine something, absolutely imagine the positive, because I'm going to tell you right now, your heart and mind are creators. You are made in God's spark. So if you're saying stuff and you're thinking stuff, you're creating stuff in your own mind. If you're thinking stuff, and if you have that creator spark inside you, the divine spark inside you. So if you are thinking stuff and you are saying stuff, you are manifesting it. So if you are saying stuff that you do not want to see happen, like you're anticipating, oh, I already can tell you what would happen, you are manifesting it with your words. You're manifesting it with your words. So the real key word here that's different than how I've ever taught this before is, for some reason, the word assumption really resonated with me, because it's not a hateful sounding word. You don't think about yourself assuming being hateful, but in this particular situation, let's just call it, in this particular experiment, because I can't prove anything to you right now, except for I can't prove anything. I can just tell you I have a really strong gut feeling, because as soon as I got the epiphany last night, I was like, I can't wait to tell people this. I can't wait to tell people this. I can't wait to put this into practice. I'm so excited about this, because if I am mirroring things to myself that need to be healed inwardly about me, most of my assumptions about people are really about me. And here's the other thing. Have you ever, almost everybody has someone or maybe multiple people in their lives who, when you have a conversation with them, or you know a story that's going on, a storyline that's going on in their life, you can see this at play with them. You can see that the way that they anticipate things to happen are the way they would handle things. The same, okay, the situation I'm talking about, like when people assume the worst of everyone, it's usually a person who themselves are depressed, residing in a very low frequency area all the time, and they assume that what someone said was meant to be offensive when it may not have been. They assume that someone is out to get them. They assume, and what they're really telling you in those moments is, well, if I was acting like that, that's what I would be doing. It's telling you, that's the reason it's a mirror. That's why I'm saying these things are kind of like a mirror, is because the mirroring back and forth is teaching you the purpose of it is just like why we don't take a steroid, because if there's something going on and your body is inflamed, you really need to figure out what the core and the root problem is. And the same thing is here for a mirror or a hologram. It's the same thing. Is the only reason that these situations would be coming at you one after another would be because you probably have a soul wound that causes you to assume that a person would act a certain way. And it's giving you, it's kind of like God's way of saying, that's just an area that you need to release. That's an area where you need to forgive. That's an area where you don't need to assume. That's an area where it's showing you areas of your life where you possibly need soul healing. Katie Souza is one who I think does great work on soul wounds. If you ever want to look for, like, she'll walk you through how to let go of anything that doesn't that is not resonating God. If it's low energy stuff, lots of times she'll be like, I do not want to be shaking hands with, that's not the way that's my terminology, but she doesn't want to be participating with anything of the enemy. And so she'll be like, God, forgive me of this. God, forgive me of that. Heal this soul wound. And lots of times people get physical healing by doing this type of, processing this type of information as well. Now, I hope I haven't confused everybody. I never thought I would say the word hologram or holograph on a Zoom call because it seemed like such a big topic to chew. And I'm not saying anybody needs to go study it, because it does seem like circling a tree where you're like, I never got a solid answer about what that means. I only told you why I ever landed in that so that I could get to the point of telling you that the assumption game is a game that you lose if you're assuming bad things. You get the mirror back at you. And anyway, I hope that it resonates with you enough to attempt and give me some feedback after you do. So yeah, I have areas of my life that I hope I can master this particular thing in, because I have already, in some areas, even though I didn't know that's what I was doing, there are certain relationships in my life where I've already made a huge stride in the assuming part, simply based on soul wound healing myself. And now I realize that my assumptions all those years were wrong. Assuming things with Jetty, even assuming things that something that he meant by something he said. And I realized lots of times if we get into an argument, which is very rare, but if we were to get into an argument, lots of times I have to stop myself and ask myself, are you making an assumption? This is before I did any of this, before I heard this last night, but are you making an assumption based on something from your childhood? The way he worded something made you assume. The way he did this or that made you assume. And by doing my own soul healing, we don't have nearly as many miscommunications or misunderstandings like that, because I quit. I'm realizing now what happened there is I quit assuming because I got the soul wound healed. Does that make sense, you guys? Do you have people in your life that are, if you have people in life that are strange relationships, the likelihood that relationship is there specifically for the purpose of your soul wound healing?
So kind of talking about like what you're saying, it's what I've done with my mom when I've said that God was restoring our relationship. So instead of seeing in the natural, I've just spoken out what I wanted to to happen. And like, you have seen that shift over the last like 2 years, and even in the last 6 months, it's even shifted even more, and just so many ways. But that's just one simple thing. Like, even if you can't see it, you speak it, because that's what your heart's desire is. So it's the same sort of thing, but I'm assuming that he is restoring it before I see the fruit of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Even the way you said that, I like that, because that way you're putting your assumptions on God and his goodness rather than putting your assumptions on man. And that in and of itself is a sign of inner healing to me.
Yeah. Well, and it has to be Jesus that restores that.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I'm not counting on myself.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, and that's the thing. Like, when you look at like all of the wounds and hurt and things and all of that, like, it's only him that can heal that. And, but I feel like you partner with him and you show an act of faith when you say something that simple as, he's restoring this. Like, it could be with your like physical ailments that you have right now. Instead of saying, I still get migraines, or I still have this pain, God is restoring this in my body as we speak.
Yes.
Like, just claiming it. Like, just don't even think, like, God is restoring my TMJ as I sit here in front of all y'all. Like, it's being restored. It is in the process of, because it's better than what it was last week. And that's when I started like praying that.
Yes, yes. You know, it's probably the reason that this resonated with me so strongly last night is because of doing work in healing, because I told Jetty, I said, you know, I have always thought that I read people so well that I can tell before I even lay hands on them whether they'll get healed or not, based on my assumption of not about me and not about them specifically, but about, I can tell, I'm telling you my old way of looking at it. I could tell by the way they're acting whether they have been drug into this situation, or whether it's their idea, or whether they're open to it, or whether they're not. But the fact is, lots of times there have been situations where I could have been projecting an assumption that wasn't right, and therefore did get exactly what I thought I was going to get, which was the not good result. You know, like, it didn't happen the way I thought, or sorry, actually, the way I hoped. It did happen the way I thought. And the fact is, I don't know about all of you. I know that not everybody has the same characteristics, but if you're one of those people who have always felt that you could read people, ask yourself, how often are you wrong? Like, I'm almost never wrong. And the fact is, I want to keep my record of almost never being wrong by assuming the best instead of the worst. I want to keep batting 1,000, but I want to change my assumptions. I think there's something inside of us that doesn't like to get tricked. Like, I don't like to be tricked. That almost kept me from doing network marketing, because I don't want anybody else thinking I got tricked either. Like, I don't want to be tricked. I don't want anybody thinking I'm so stupid that I got tricked. It's an inner something that I've been working on, of releasing that. But that also puts me in the stay prepared. Make sure you know what's about to happen. Make sure you know what's going on. Go in prepared. And preparedness to me in the past has always meant, put on your thinking cap. You know these people. Assume. Know what you're going for. Know what you're going into. But true preparation would look way more like an offensive prayer strategy, which is what I've learned a lot more about in this since last February until now. Like, really going into things with offensive prayer strategy, which means sending the angels, sending hosts, speaking life, doing all the things, rather than feeling like I'm always coming from behind and being in defense mode, being in offense, like, charge, here we go. We're going into this thing. We're going to go into this thing with angels blazing. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to go into it with all heaven, everything that heaven has to offer. And that is the best preparedness that you can have, rather than trying to lock and load your mind on this person's probably going to react like this, and this person probably going to do this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and then have it mirrored back to you exactly as you thought it. I mean, how fun is that? That's not even fun. It's not even a puzzle or a mystery if that's what's happening to us. If we are reliving the same trauma through this person and this person and this person and this person based on an expectation of what we think that they'll do. I know it sounds out there, but I would love, you guys are the group of people that I would love for you to give me feedback on what this feels like. Because here's the thing, the world, she's a changing, and that's not just an assumption, that's a fact. And as it changes, we're going to need different strategies. How many of Lana's words recently have been like, new wine? I mean, God's doing a new thing. It's completely different. You got to get ready, because this is going to be different. Well, to me, I think this is going to be one of the things that helps me and anybody who wants to collectively participate the very, very most moving forward, laying down assumptions and assuming the best. Assuming people have good hearts, assuming people have good intentions, assuming people have good motive. I guess that's the same thing, intentions and motive, but you see what I'm saying? So I'm gonna pray over us. And I'm also just gonna say that probably up until now in my life, as many things as I put out there, that comfort zone talk by Genevieve earlier tonight, I put a lot of things out there that are like on the fringe, and I realize that they are, that a lot of people would be a little uncomfortable by the things that I teach and talk about. And the more I stay in my comfort zone, the more I say, I stayed in my comfort zone for 2 years after God told me to start doing breakthrough trainings. I stayed there for 2 years based on one girl who lives here in my town and what she said about me. I was like, but what if I'm wrong? And what if I get made a fool of? And what if she says things to all my friends and then everybody thinks of the, but up. And I'm going to tell you what, that's broke off of me. That's broke off of me, because once I started doing breakthrough trainings, everybody's life that were participating, I mean, it's like, gosh, I can't believe I let one girl from my hometown say one thing, or I can't believe it. Well, first of all, I can't believe it. And probably an assumption of mine caused it. I'm just being honest with you. A hologram of some sort. I'm probably the one that needs to be butt on the chopping block about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, girl, you assumed that. I'm not assuming that about anybody. I'm going to start putting truth out as far as I know it. As I'm saying, I can't tell you anything of this kind of supernatural stuff. I can't put anything out there and say, and I can guarantee you this. All I can do is share what I believe that God is revealing to me. And then my response to anybody who wants to knee jerk at it would be like, you do you, boo. I do me, you do you, okay? That's the only way I know how to respond to people anymore. Because I can't go around having an assumption that people are going to knee jerk and go talking about me around town and saying I'm crazy and whatever. I mean, I did for years. So yeah, online, I did. But I'm not going to, because the world's changing, and we're going to need strategies that have never even been unveiled before. He's doing a new thing for a new heaven and a new earth, and we need to be prepared to be the new wineskin. We need to say, fill me up. I'm ready. Pour out the old wine and bring in the new. So there you go. That's that. Now, also, happy to say that if this is something that doesn't resonate with you, when I say you do you, boo, that's not even a hateful thing. I don't even mean it hateful. I mean, I don't like people trying to press anything on me. So if it doesn't resonate with you, keep rocking and doing what you were doing. At some point, it might, resonate with you more, and you might come back and reflect on it and say, hey, what does it hurt to lay down assumptions? Probably nothing. Probably doesn't hurt anything to lay down my assumptions. So God, right now we just invite you in, Lord. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but desire fulfilled is a tree of life. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but desire fulfilled is a tree of life. God, teach us about the tree of life. Teach us what you really mean by that. I think that's one of your mysteries. God, show us. Shine your heart on us. Shine your light on us. Shine your truth on us. God, may we partner only with your truth. God, may, if anything I ever say come out to be something that is not part of your truth, God, show it to me. Show it to someone so that we can know and we can learn. God, I just ask for and receive. As an act of my will, I ask for and receive an extra measure of supernatural courage to do what you call me to do. I ask for and receive expansion of my comfort zone. I am willing and ready to do what it takes. That's a declaration. I am ready and willing to do what it takes for my business, for my family, for a spiritual journey like no other. I am ready and willing to do what it takes to do what you've asked me to do, Lord. And I pray that if it resonates with you, that you should pray that too. I feel like probably the reason I always pray in first person, and then you can echo it if you want to, is because I have a very strong you do you boo thing going on. If this resonates with you, that you are ready to walk inside the master's plan for your life, that you just call on heaven right now and you say, I am ready. God, I'm ready to walk in your plan for my life. I'm ready to lay down assumptions. If assumptions were coming from which I believe that assumptions are coming from a low-lying desire to keep myself protected. God, you are my protector, and I don't have to have assumptions to be protected. I lay them down. I lay my assumptions down. God, if I feel like I always have to be prepared, if I have felt that way in the past, that I have to always be prepared before I can walk into something because I feel that you won't be provider, that you won't meet expectations, God, heal that inside me. That no longer fits in my life. That is no longer the way I want to be operating in my life. And right now, I just speak over people's, I'm just going to call your throat, your voice, your vocal cords, because that's being highlighted to me repeatedly, actually, this week. So I just speak that a new warrior would be born inside there. And that when you are called in any situation to do something with your voice that is uncomfortable to you, but you know you are being called, that warrior will leap right out of you. Sometimes it's uncomfortable to tell people the truth, but you can do it in kindness and love. Sometimes it's uncomfortable to have a conversation with someone that you know needs to happen so that you can have a further understanding. But there is grace when you call upon it. God, we call upon your grace for marching forward and what we're supposed to do. I feel like also I'm supposed to pray over. Some of you have not ever properly stood up for yourselves in certain situations. So I'm going to ask for divine opportunity to stand up for yourself and the divine opportunity to let God be the warrior that jumps out of your throat. Do you see what I'm saying? Like God's word, God's love over a situation, but no cowering down. I know that I know that may seem a little weird to pray that, but I have seen it over and over in the last few weeks, people saying stuff that really they're not realizing it maybe, and I probably wouldn't be realizing it on a one-to-one basis, but I'm having so many people tell me what's going on in their life, and I'm like, oh gosh, that's that underlying thing that says I'm not worthy to stand up for myself. Yes, you are. I declare and decree that you are worthy. Possibly just by laying down an assumption you wouldn't have to. Let's just say that. Possibly by laying down an assumption you wouldn't have to defend yourself. But in the instance where it comes to that you concisely and kindly just tell your truth. And I speak that like, I'm just going to tell you right now, a healing over this. It's a healing. Oh yeah, okay, wow. So I just release heaven right now over that, over a healing in your throat, over your voice, over your truth. I release a healing over you being able to voice your truth. So many of you need that. And I don't even know all y'all. I don't know what y'all are going through, but so many of you need that. What you're experiencing right now. Yes. Right now, I ask God for a raising of a collective consciousness, like a collective heart coherence type. I believe that some of these attacks will stand down as we lay down our assumptions. I believe that this is going to be, you know how you have some tools in your toolkit that you're like, oh, a little ball peen hammer. I use that every now and then. This is one of those tools that's going to be like your hammer. Lay down your assumption will be like, I use it almost every day now. God, I thank you that you are the tool belt and the tools. And I thank you that we can use those successfully. And by laying down our assumptions, many of these attacks will stand down. I made a lot of assumptions about the medical field for a long time and got to see it right in my face this last week or so ago with all the stuff with my mom. It's like I proved myself right on something I wanted to be wrong about. You understand? Like I went in with an assumption that there was going to be there could possibly be grotesque incompetence. That's not something you want to be proved right on. Wish I had learned this before that so that I could have laid down my assumptions. So it's not just relational, it's situational too. You see what I'm saying? Like relational, and you see how people react to you. The mirror thing is sometimes about that which you judge. Judge them. Yeah, I've been walking around judging them for a long time, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm ready for that mirror to stand down. I don't want anybody suffering because of a mirror. I'm ready for that mirror to stand down. God, may all of us who are experiencing some sort of mirror scenario right now, because I believe that a lot of these attacks are holographic in nature, mirrors in nature, made on an assumption. If you assume sickness in the winter, if you assume pain in childbirth, extraordinary pain, excessive pain, I think literally I literally think that we manifest a lot of it. And the reason I believe that now is because I see people who have done the work and then they go, I didn't have pain in childbirth. you ever heard of this? People who have done the work. There are girls that live in my town who went through these classes and then they didn't have pain in childbirth. What in the world? Like, that is hard to believe. But I know these people. They're like, had multiple kids now, no pain. Doing the soul healing. Part of that is put on you from the very beginning when you're told to fear something. Prepare yourself. Be a Boy Scout. Make sure you're prepared. It's going to be wretched, right? Clean slate. Wash it clean. We don't want to participate with all these assumptions because everybody's experience is unique. I was taught a lot. I was taught of a lot of assumptions. I was taught a lot of fear. And I'm loosing it all from my soul. Even the fact that I was taught that, I'm loosing that from my soul. Like, I'm not angry about it. It was from a place of well-meaning that I was taught to fear. It was like, protect yourself. But God is my defender. God, you are my defender. You are my supplier. You are my source. Yes. And so I'm just off of me today. Like, I want it gone. I want it off. I want it broken off. God, I just pray right now over our collective assumptions. God, that you would literally give us dreams where we would see you tearing away assumptions, wrong thinking, anything that was never you, God. We don't want to be participating in anybody's story that is not your truth, God. I do not want to be participating in any shape, form, or fashion. And I do not want to be operating from a place of a soul wound. So right now, I just speak over you right now. If you are operating from a place that you know, if you have a soul wound, a childhood thing, or a marital thing, or whatever that you know needs healing, right now we call on supernatural, dunamis power to literally like burn that up. Burn it. I have no interest in living. I have no interest in living a life in fear or in the definition of insanity. Trying the same thing, and getting the same results. God, we are open to you and your something new. I lift this all up in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. All right. You guys didn't leave me yet. You're not going to leave, I feel. I feel I can't get rid of y'all, no matter what I do or say. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Okay. If it didn't resonate with you, you do you, boo. If it did, I'd love to have your feedback, because if this is something that I find out is the way I think it is, it's something I would like to teach on a grander level. I would love to study it more, get your feedback, tell me what you think did and didn't work. That's the only way that's the only way we come up with new. Rosa, it's so good to see you on here. I would love to have feedback from you guys. So, okay, I'm going to leave it at that. Y'all have a great night. I'm going to close this out so the video is not any longer. I'm going to at least stop